Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shabbat, Hashem, Kakwadash, double honors to the apostles and other bishops of great millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. The elder Yashawan back with the World War III daily update. Shalom and salutations to you all. Obadiah 1 and 1, the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom, or equivalent to that, Babylon the Great at this time. All right. Jump down to 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee, including Cuba. Right. There's been a long peace, even though you're enemies. You're at peace with them. With thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in him. Yeah, I know that Cuba is not eating the bread. They're doing trade with everybody, but now all of that is about to change. Anyway, all the men of thy confederacy. And I mean, Cuba is with Russia, China, and Venezuela, and they're about to lose. I'm going to let Skeletor here explain. Because Skeletor in this edition 2 hours ago said a lot of good things right up to about 5 minutes. So I'm going to let him say what he said. Because he basically sums up what's going on in geopolitics and why people are doing the things that they're doing in the lead up to World War III. And then we'll get World War III, and I'll go ahead and close. Take it away, Skeletor.
There is something large that is happening right now in the Western Hemisphere, and people are still trying to talk about it like it's just another headline out there. Just another little bit of America's foreign policy. Another we'll just wait and see what happens situation. This is actually a major power shift, and it's being run by Donald Trump. And it's happening in a place that most Americans don't even think about, Cuba, 90 miles off the coast of the U.S. state of Florida, a communist relic from the Cold War that has been limping along not for years, but decades, because it always had a patron, a lifeline, someone to keep the powers on and keep the fuel running. And now that lifeline has been completely cut out. Now here's the key. Cuba is not collapsing because Marco Rubio wants it to. Cuba is not collapsing because America invaded Venezuela. Cuba is collapsing because the external machine that kept it breathing is failing. That machine was Venezuela. For a very long time now, Cuba's economy survived on a system that was built around complete subsidized energy. Venezuela would send the oil. Cuba would send in the people, the apparatus, the machines, doctors, security support, political support, intelligence. This was not a charity from Cuba or Venezuela. It was a reaching of a common goal, an exchange. When Donald Trump disrupted Venezuela's oil flow, that did not just isolate Maduro's regime in Venezuela, it destabilized Cuba by proxy. When you understand that, you understand why Venezuela is not an isolated Latin American country. In a larger chessboard, Venezuela is the captured piece that is being repositioned for the next pressure point in World War III. That next pressure point is Cuba. When people look at Cuba, they see a tourist island that is halfway or 80% of the way into a third world country. Old cars run the streets. They make great cigars. Nostalgia. Frozen photographs of the Cold War. But from an American perspective of power, Cuba sits at the gateway to the Gulf of America and the entire South American waterway. Shipping lanes. America's southern flank. Symbolically and strategically, Cuba is America's unfinished business that was operated by Russia and China. Now, I want to frame this in a way that mainstream media hates to see it because it ruins what is ultimately their narrative. This is not Iraq. This is not Afghanistan. Not some endless Middle Eastern nation building or regime change under a liberal globalist mission. This is what could be America's strongest leader, the hemisphere being put up for grabs. We're done pretending that Russia and China can have it. And that is the single part that terrifies the establishment class because this is not the game that they like to play. What they like is endless litigation, a never-ending process, never-ending ambiguity that doesn't ever resolve anything. So when you cut off the oil and the minerals, you cut off the oxygen, and the countries nearby can't breathe, one of those countries being Cuba.
I'm going to stop it right there. So, this is the lead up. They have to go. They got to go get Greenland, which is going to set it off. They got to take Cuba, which is going to set it off. They got to take Venezuela, right? Colombia's next. Who's next? Mexico. They got to shut it down. They got to control it, okay? They got to reconsolidate their assets, starting with the Western Hemisphere. And they got to act like a fucking crazy mongrel while they're doing it. Otherwise, they're about to lose everything. They're trying to reconsolidate, get what they can, because they know it's bipolar at this time. Economy or whatever, world economy, not a singular hegemony or whatever. So that's pretty much, where I wanted to go with it. Cuba's next, right? Why? Because it just can't, function the way that it did, right? In the old world, if we can call it that. So, and then what? What's next after Cuba? And they got to be very careful about how they take Cuba under control. And what do we see on a spiritual glance with Cuba and Venezuela? Because Venezuela goes down, down goes Cuba. Well, there's Manasseh going down. And what is Venezuela's Asher? Who is that? Is that Asher? I'm guessing. You understand what I'm saying? That's the Most High starting at his house. What happens? What's going on in Venezuela right now? Well, revolutions and warlords and, power shift. What does that mean? People are dying, starving, right? If you're on a shoestring budget as it is, and then something disrupts that, and everything, is fucked. As the power struggle, the vacuum, and that's the Most High stirring shit up where? I will start at my own sanctuary. Look at Cuba. What's going on in Haiti? What's going on in Jamaica? What's going on in what do they call it? In Puerto Rico, Sao Paulo. All right. So, what is the Most High doing? He just started at his own sanctuary. All right. What is about to happen in Cuba, or what is happening right now in Cuba as a result of the oil is being controlled now? That means that Cuba is not getting no oil. They're getting shut down. They're getting starved out. And not as though they don't know what to do. They've been there before, but it's about to go down bad. Nobody's paying attention to that. Right? They've been dying to do this for years, and now it's going down. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep our eye on proceedings. Right? We'll keep our eye on Cuba. Right? That's spiraling out of control. But you can always start a riot in Minneapolis to get everybody's attention, right? So with that, what is this? This is the run up to World War III. Revelation 11:14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Third woe is here. If you see what I see with that, we hope that the elect edifies you, brothers and sisters. Shalom.